We're going to be looking at using the greater than and less than operators in SQL Server. Before we get started, let me just take you to the employee table and we'll just run this real quick. And what I did, I ordered the salaries from greatest to least. So there's somebody, Kenny Sellum, gets $850,000 a year. He's obviously a sales guy. Then these other guys here are probably a Tony Macaroni, sales guy. A lot of these other higher ones, these are all probably programmers. But anyway, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be showing how to use the different operators. Now, you know how the equal sign works. Are there any salaries here worth 110? Sure, this guy, Vladimir Kamenko, earns that. So let's run both of these queries. We see the entire table, but when we say where EM salary equals 110,000, sure enough, it only shows that's one record where this individual makes 110,000. But most of the time, you don't really know the exact dollar amount of a field maybe, but you might have an idea or a range, or you kind of know what you're looking for. So let's do this. Let's first start off with using a greater than operator. So now we're going to select everything from this table, but only where the salary is greater than 110,000. Now, does that mean that we won't see this one? Well, 110,000 is not greater than 110,000, so we should just see these four records. Let's try that. And there we are. So everything that shows up right now is greater than 110,000. It's not rocket science. But what's different is, you know, maybe I want to show where EM salary, you know, is greater than 110,000 or equal to. And there's really a couple of ways that we could do that. Let me show you how you would not want to do that. Now you could run this query. See, now we get all five. We get the 110 and then everything greater than it. And you see we're saying where the EM salary equals 110 or the where the EM salary is greater than 110 or the EM salary is equal to 110. But that's kind of sloppy, and if there's a lot of other stuff in your where clause, it makes it a lot more difficult to read. What you can do is you can say select star from employees where EM salary, notice this, two operators together, but really think of it as just one operator, greater than or equals, greater than equal to 110,000. Now, if you get confused and put the equal sign before the greater than, that's kind of not going to do the same thing. So just remember out loud, greater than or equals. So it starts off with a greater than, and then the equals are less than or equals. The equal sign always comes afterwards. If we run this, bam, what this does, this greater than or equals 110,000 replaces all of this. Look at all that. If you had to write that out 100 times on the blackboard, you know, that's time subtracted off your life. If you only have to write this, you can reinvest that time in, you know, like planning out your investments or something. So greater than and equal is a really powerful way, not only to shorten what you're writing, but the readability is so much better. What's easier to read, this or this? Because remember, this could be nested and broken up, and you know there could be parentheses, and it could just be like this really ugly thing. Now, let's go to where the EM salary is less than 110. We already know what's going to happen. Just everything that comes up here is less than 110,000. Now, if we want to include this one fellow that makes 110, then we say less than or equal to 110,000. And there's the 110. So we picked up one more record. Let me show you a very common error that you can make. We want to do a range here where we're going to say where the salary is between 50,000, or it's greater than 50,000 and it's less than 100,000. Can you tell why this is going to get an error? It says incorrect syntax near greater than. Do you see what's different between this line and this line? See how this says where EM salary greater than 50,000 and then less than 110, but this says EM salary greater than 110 or, and then it names the field again. What's missing from this second query is that there's no field here. It's easy to think, well, the EM salary where it's greater than this and less than that, but everything past the AND operator does not know that you're still talking about EM salary. It's just the way SQL works. So you have to have EM salary there. Once you do that, it's happy. So you will, it's just inevitable that you'll get that error from time to time. Now, here's another thing that you can do. Here's basically the same thing, well, we just ran it basically by putting in the EM salary. Again, here's what it looks like without that. Just to reiterate. And if we run this, by the way, even though the second line is okay, it doesn't even get that far because once it gets to the error, it chokes. And now it's happy. Once again, we've saved the day. Last but not least, let's take a look at this. Now we want to do the range between 50,000 and 110,000, and when we do this, we also want to pick up any 50,000s, and we also want to pick up 110,000. So let's do that. And there we go. 110 all the way down. There weren't any that were exactly 50, but that's okay. But that's how you do this. You'll probably want to stay tuned because in the next video, we're going to show another way to even consolidate this more using the between keyword. So stay tuned for that.